condemnation of what has been qualified as cruel injustice, gross violation of human rights, civil and political rights continue rising to the sky in Cameroon and beyond after the death of Anise Kane, president of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Mandem. Anise Kane died in detention at the State Secretariat for Defense in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, and calls have continued rising for an international independent investigation. And earlier this week, the children of Anise Kane converged on the French capital city, Paris, to demand for clarification of the circumstances of the death of their father. They are asking the government of Cameroon to clarify the circumstances in which Anise Kane died. And another issue coming up again is the question as to who is leading Cameroon. Question marks are increasing on what is today qualified as the high instruction strategy that is being used notably by the Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Ferdinand Gongo, according to powers conferred on him by the President of the Republic to lead the nation, to lead some activities in the nation, to lead the governance, the management of public affairs in Cameroon. And this has generated the question as to who is governing the country. We are looking at these issues in this edition of The Inside. FOLIGAR, now you are the president of the Cameroon Reformation Party. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much, and you're welcome. Thank you.
Recently, you received an award from your fellow Cameroonians in the UK. What was that award all about?
I've worked a lot for them, so they recognize me for my hard work and the love I have given them as Cameroonians. So we all live abroad. I've been living in the UK for a while, so I've been supporting Cameroon community, I've been advising them, I've been financing their local activities, I've been employing some of them, and I've been guiding some as a role model. So they culminated all these activities, and they decided to look into it that they give me an award of recognition. And that award was handed to me in Leicester. And I'm so proud of it. I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for myself for doing exactly what my community needs when they are away from their fathers and their mothers and their families.
What is your motivation in helping your fellow Cameroonians in the UK and out of the UK?
For me, I think it's their personal interest, it's their personal thought that what I do is that I've venerated my edifice of love to Cameroonians. I guide them, I support them, and I tell them that I'm fighting in Cameroon for them because they hold a chunk of money that they could spend in this country to employ fellow Cameroonians that are suffering with lack of jobs. And then the dual nationality issue is hampering their movement into and out of Cameroon and investing into Cameroon. So I guide them, I support them, and I even promote their activities. Look at sports in Cameroon community. I told them we live in Europe and then we can only eat, drink, and go to work. How about sports? I buy jerseys for them, I buy footballs, I give donations and rent halls for them to hold activities and include them in even my day-to-day life, the employment schemes that I carry out in the United Kingdom.
About the dual nationality issue, there are some of you in the diaspora who are saying that the dual nationality issue is not a problem, it's not hindering anybody except for the fact that you need a visa to come home. And some are saying that having a visa to come home is easy, and so it seems to be.
Let me look at you short. This is ignorance. Sheer ignorance of their rights, sheer ignorance of what they know about nationality and citizenship. They don't know. They don't know the benefits. I think some of them, when they come over, they need someone like me to clarify certain things that are so important for them, especially nationality and citizenship issues. The relationship you got with your country, the bonding by nature you got, and the bonding you got with another country by due merit of your duration of stay or your kindly gesture. Those are two different things. Where you were born, your foot attachment is your citizenship. Your culture is your citizenship. Your many other things, your language, your religion, so many things are your citizenship. Where you were born is your citizenship. Your relatives, your mom, your dad, their graves, and so many things is your citizenship. Your nationality now comes in that somebody see you living so long and being polite and respectful of the law in his own country and offer it to you that you are my national. So there's nobody in the planet.
And then in your own country, they say, okay, since you have taken up the other nationality, you are no
longer. You're no longer a Cameroonian. That can never be accepted in any human right law in this country. If you're selling out your children to somebody else because the person leaves your house in times of difficulty to go and beg some petty things from the neighbor, you tell your child that you're now a neighbor's child. Is that what they think? So I am out of this country and my children comes to your house. Maybe you're a friend or maybe you're just open, kind person and say, well, can I stay here? My dad is not treating me nice or things are so difficult for me. You see, you offer them a place to stay. Then I tell my children that you are no longer my children again because you're now living with Babylon. So you're now Babylon's children. Can that work?
So the dual nationality issue, is it really an impediment, a hindrance to investment, diaspora investment back home?
Of course. Every democratic society has never sold out its people like Cameroon is selling them out because of politics. They are not selling them out because of something else. They are selling them out because of defense of egocentric politics. So when you are a British citizen, wherever you are a British. As far as you are English is typical white man. You are typical English person. You are English. Whether you go to Cameroon, you stay 1 million years, you want to come back, you come back at will. You want to visit, you visit at will. There's never selling out of your people like they drastically selling out Cameroonians and say, dual nationality, you need to go sign this, because they are afraid that some people might amass an amount of money, invest in Cameroon, get more money, and get a voice. Because the government of Cameroon is set up in a style that whenever the finance should circulate in the hands of those that love the system of government. The finance, the money should be much more on the hands of those that love the way the regime operates. So if you don't like the way the regime operates, you shouldn't have money. So that's why the business people, the big parastatal companies, and the rest are all government affiliated. So when you're coming in like myself, who have lived abroad and willing to help this country, they make everything possible that either you affiliate to them or you don't do anything at all in the country in the name of nationality.
So to be clear on this, how is the fact that for a Cameroonian who has taken up another nationality to come into the country needs a visa, a hindrance to investment?
It's a hindrance because there are ways that when you are living in Cameroon, not unaffected by law, registering a company, having a bank account, operating things, and defending even yourself with the police in the streets who are loitering up and down, don't have even clothes in the house to wear, but using police uniform continuously 24/7. Some of them basically don't have even 2 or 3 trousers. I'm not abusing anybody, but they've taken the uniform of the government as a means of intimidation. So coming in to come and do business, you meet people who are not even on duty, but wearing police uniform, and they're just asking things, and it's a whole hindrance. If you've been used to an open society and you come to a closed society, it's a hindrance.
Let's talk about the death of Anise Kane, the president of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Mali, who died in detention.
Yes.
Now, you qualified his death as cruel injustice.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
Cruel injustice, cruel defense for the personal interest, that is why we call it injustice. Because the death of a politician who has cruelly been arrested, unaccounted for why have they arrested him, detained for a duration of period which is unaccountable, is cruel injustice. When you arrest somebody, you got a time, you say, I'm taking you to detain you because I don't want you to do this for your safety or for the safety of the public or for the safety of the people around you. You must be fined. And when none of this falls within that category, I am not a lawyer, but I have common sense. If none of this falls within the category of either protecting the personality of the person or protecting the society and environment where a dangerous person is living, then it becomes so cruel. And the crueltiness is so high in this country. It's one of the highest countries with political crueltiness. They are so cruel. And they arrested a gentleman who has no weapon, has no decision of killing, have no interest of doing harm to anyone else and even to himself. And they just tortured him, logically tortured him, and he passed away. And he passed away and nobody has apologized. And the person that has won the election has not come out and said, I apologize with my sincere condolence that rather unfortunate that my colleague who contested with me has passed away. and we think that it was because of this reason or that we detained him. Let Cameroonians remain in peace, and this will not happen again. And I call on the forces of law and order to make sure that when they arrest somebody, this is the time that they detain the person, and this is the explanation they must give to the family and the public. This has not been done.
His children converged on the French capital city, Paris, and in a press conference, they denounced the detention conditions and said that the detention conditions caused his death because he was in a situation of ill health.
If there were charges, we could consider that as corporate manslaughter, because the deprivation of life or any equipment that can sustain life, even for 1 second or for 1 minute, there must have been something he could have done better for himself, even if there was something wrong. But denying access to facilities that sustains life, we at the Cameroon Reformation Party, we understand that it's corporate manslaughter. You logically just kill the man in a nice, polite way by removing your hands from there. So we call it corporate manslaughter. The Cameroon government needs to be held accountable, and especially whoever gets the order on behalf of the Cameroon government that in a said candidate should be detained, be arrested or be detained, or be restricted from access to facilities of health, have to give accounts. And that is why we say they should change that name from the party called Cameroon Democratic Movement, because the word democracy in quotes doesn't sound right for what their activities they are carrying out. For
well, the State Secretariat for Defense is a state institution, not an institution of the CPDM. It was arrested by the state and not the CPDM.
No, when an organization is ruling the country, in a way of logical thought, it is that organization that takes decisions. So we affiliate the decision making of the country to the organization that has won the election and that has put the members of their government, of their party, into positions of government. If the Cameroon Reformation Party wins the election tomorrow, any good thing done thanks to the Cameroon Reformation Party on this year that they did this, it is also the government that is government selected by the party to rule their policies. So the CPDM is selecting people, manned by the party. So every blame during the period of error goes to the party that has manned the government.
The children, as I said earlier, converging Paris in the press conference demanding for clarification, demanding that the circumstances of the death of their father should be clarified, because the facts that we have as journalists and lawyers, from other human rights defenders, from those who were, and he said the candidate while he was in detention, in sharp contrast with what is coming from the government bench. The government spokesperson saying that he was adequately taken care of medically, he was given all the best medical attention and so on.
But we have this.
So the circumstances.
This is a modern world.
The children are saying that should be clarified.
Yeah, this is a modern world. But I will start by saying my condolences to all the entire family, and that we at the political level here in Cameroon, we denounce all sorts of attacks towards Anissé Kane just up to the level that he passed away. And so we send our heartfelt condolences within the Cameroon Reformation Party, which I've written so many times, to the government to give accountability on what really transcends. The medical system in the world has grown so advanced in every country. Unless Cameroon can tell me that they are not using modern understanding of medical facilities, not only the equipment, but the ideology, which means that there is a minute recording, which we call medical notes, of what they were doing to Anissé Kane when he drinks water, when he eats, when he refuses, when he gets up, when he wanders around, when he demands something. All these recordings need to be, all these that we call the medical notes, they need to be, so that they can follow up trend by medical doctors to examine and see what they can do better for him when you are not well. We call them medical notes. Let this government, whether you are detained, you have access to a medical doctor or somebody in the medical field. Let them bring out the medical information of Anissé Kane. from the date he was arrested, from the date he passed away, what they were doing to him. That's one thing. They need to bring all these records and say, at 1 o'clock on this day, he ate. And the same day, he drank water. He refused taking medication. He requested for oxygen mask. They gave him or they refused. These records need to be put into public. We are in a civilized world now. We are not longer in back in the days where we just speak and it goes. We come from modern countries where once you enter the hospital, information begins. As you sit on the chair, good morning, good morning. We greeted him and he answered. His mood was good. His mood was in a way, he was feeling down. They are taking. And as it goes into the system, doctors are looking at it carefully and knowing exactly what they can offer to you. Why is that they will just tell us by verbal conclusion that it is because he was not well? And these are just like child's play. The government is doing like child's play. That is not a real solid system. In the modern world where there are lots of equipment, lots of trainings, lots of understanding in medical field, unfortunately the Cameroon system has no time except just putting people there to amass wealth and then torture other people, training people to be so wicked. Why will you train human beings to be so wicked in a way that they deprive somebody from medical equipment?
No, you are asking for an independent international investigation into the death of Anise Kane. Is it that you don't trust the Cameroon government? You don't trust the investigation that can be done here?
The referee of a football match must not be from the part of the teams that are playing. An independent body means that when something is already in your hand that is hot, you cannot give out the right information easily. And Cameroon government having a history of manipulation, a long history of manipulation, of corruption, of failure to do very nice things to their people, of torturing, molestation, detentions, all these dangerous things. They've got a history of that. Unaccountability is what is highly lacking in this country. There's no minister, there's no anybody in top position who can come and account exactly on something with a neutral understanding, very neutral. There's none of them who can be very neutral to this country and very neutral, taking up a neutral position and then giving account of something. They always give account to the betterment because they want to protect their jobs. They don't do anything else. They're only looking for means to guarantee their payments and salaries and amassing money for where they're saying that where a goat is tied, that's where it eats. And that's exactly what the government believes in. And that's why they're amassing money all over the place. And so they can't give you a clean accountability. So in that regard, the Cameroon Information Party calls exactly for the international community to step into the death of Anise Kane and investigate properly and see step-by-step activities and actions taken towards him.
Those who think that Cameroonian problems should be solved in Cameroon by Cameroonians will tell you that what you're asking for is like going to invite the neighbor to come and investigate the quarrel between you and your wife, to come and investigate the fight between
that is not new in the world.
Children in your house.
That's not new to the world. That is not new. And we know when there's a quarrel, persistent quarrel in the house, persistently. This is not the first time somebody's dying and passing away in jail in Cameroon with no account. So when there's persistent quarrel in the house, a third-party resolution must be sought. It's common everywhere. A third-party resolution must be sought. It's common. We can go into history. Even during the Second World Wars, all the world wars, during periods of Iraq, Iran, during period of Al-Assad and in Syria and the rest, they are all called to third parties to come and sit when they see that jungle justice can come into play. And this country is very nicely programmed within the regime for jungle justice. Justice that can never come out with a straight answer. I am not the first person to say it. They know what I'm saying. They understand what I'm saying. They know that they can change it and that we are not fighting their positions. We're fighting for oxygen to flow into the bodies of Cameroonians as much as possible, like any other human beings in the world, with no restriction. Not everybody should breathe equally in this land of Cameroon. We're not fighting to take over anybody's position in this country. We're not fighting to restrict anybody from his salary and from his position. We're fighting that everybody that is working within this government should be very straightforward and allow oxygen to flow into the Cameroonians peacefully. The people love their peace. They want to stay in their peace and let peace be given the chance for these people. And that is the primary rule of the Cameroon Reformation Party. Let nobody hear what I'm saying and thinking that I'm inciting some form of anything, aggression towards them, or that I hate some parties or I don't like some parties. I like every organization, but let the organization portray symptoms of transparency, symptoms of love, symptoms of peace, bringing peace, but not enforcing peace, but making parameters that can put peace into play and let everybody enjoy the country equally. Some were not born to enjoy the country, while others were doomed to suffer. Everybody was born to enjoy his environment where God has given him to live, but let nobody stand on the way of another person due to the reason of authority.
Now, when I hear you say that, for the credibility of the result of the investigation into the circumstances of the death of Aniseh, international investigation, the third party must come. Yes. That speaks volumes of the distrust, and this is what we are hearing from every Cameroonian on the street.
It's highly distrusted.
Many Cameroonians are expressing this deep distrust. They don't trust the authorities. They don't trust the police force. They don't trust the military. They don't trust the soldiers.
They don't trust anyone.
And this is not good for a nation. But give us an understanding of this. Why is it so? Why are Cameroonians not trusting the authorities?
Because the foundation of the country, when it was laid, according to my deductive understanding, we are one of those people, we hardly really go for books. We prefer to write the books, even though we have not been educated to writing books. So we call ourselves deductive. We read from our minds and we make things happen. I'm proud of this, and anywhere I've lived around the world, I've been a treasure to anywhere I live, to any society I live. If I move to your village, I will be a treasure. I love human, I love deductiveness. Deductive means that you don't take in information. You deduce within yourself for who you are. And I am a deductive analyst in my own way. And I understand this system to be so corrupted because there are certain cultures within the country. We've got about 240 something different villages with different languages, different cultures. Some of the cultures embraces tips giving even if you are in a service where you are being paid. And these have brought about general corruption within the country. Because why would somebody work and he has a salary paid by you from tax? You go to sign a document with that person, then he asks you to give him something, or he push the document on the table and get up and go for break and leave you there to struggle for the whole day and miss out a very vital point in a turning time of your life. What type of country is that? What type of country where you go to the office and the work starts at 9 o'clock? 11 people signing documents, dispensing documents for citizens that are paying tax in order that they should receive some tough salaries to buy Prados and ride on bad roads and abandon the bad roads and then ride Prados and destroy them. 60 million, 70 million. You destroy the car for 3 years. Even your own daughter, you just sent to a school that worth 60 million. You buy a car and destroy it like that. The man that gives you that salary and the opportunity is a citizen, a common citizen who sells bitter cola, who sells tomato, who sells rice in the market, who sells small things, reactors, and selling those things. He pays you your salary. You ride in a Prado, 60 million. He comes into your office to sign a national identity card or anything where he's paying the government money for it. Then you ending up wanting him to give you the tips. Why will you trust such type of people? I'm not telling you that I've gone to school. I've not gone to school. But I'm the only deductive analyst in this country. I can analyze everything to the bottom line of it. And that's the foundation of corruption. Having the impression that a goat eats only where it is tied. That's where they call themselves the continent. Those are the definition of becoming a continent. It embraces all sorts of things that countries have abandoned 1,000 years ago. Even in Egypt, these have existed 200 something, 2,000 something years ago. But they all saw that they were destroying their civilization. They abandoned it. South Sudanese civilization settled around Lake Chad before migrating into Cameroon and Nigeria and the rest. They all saw that there was corruption reaping up from what you've not sowed. and from what somebody has sweat to support you to be paid. But when he comes to take a service from you, where you are part of those paying him, he wants you to give him something. Where you saw your brother driving to go and support somebody in the motorway, because you got the uniform and the power, you stop and destroy his day, otherwise he gives you 500 pounds. Why will you think that you can trust such a regime?
How do you think this issue can be related, this issue of gross violations of human rights?
I want to put it in a day when me and you will go and let Cameroonians ask me any question of difficulty and challenges they face over their lives. So I should be the sample to them who I am and what I want from this country. I could feel free the whole day answering anybody from the grassroots to the top root, to the ministers, to the directors, to everybody, and telling them exactly what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, and how they should stop exactly what they've done wrong. Because I know where I'm coming from, and I know where I'm going to, and I know where I want these people. So nice in a country like Cameroon, a brilliant country with a history that is holding so much at heart that people would like to visit. A country with the highest luck, speaking two powerful languages that can govern the entire planet, this country. But unfortunately, the people that have been selected to run this country have been selected with the virtue that if you don't have any criminal offense or dubious mind or anger, even no means of running your people with peace and love, that's your CV. Your CV is good. They implore you. Once you show evidence that you can shout, you can fight Cameroonians, you can be aggressive to them, you can tell them that they're staying in the house tomorrow, you can hamper their lives, your CV is brilliant. That's what is happening in this country. Your CV is excellent when you want to become minister, director, commandant, commissioner, and any person in this country. Your CV needs to be rich in aggression, in anger, in everything that you need to harm these people so that they should be afraid to stay and oppose. So we know in physics that if there is no opposition to movement, then everything will move forever. You understand what I mean? We know in physics that if there is no friction, the force against movement and the force that is moving goes against, then everything will move forever. That's why we have come out and said we need to tell them that nothing is going to move forever. Things will get to stop at some point, and this country needs to get the air that God has given them and the right.
Let's go to the newsstands and take a look at what the newspapers reported this week. This is Progressive. Daily Voice reports the death of 8 persons in a fuel tanker explosion in Likomba, Tiko, southwest region of Cameroon. And the post highlights the visit of the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Honorable O.C. Joshua, who went to comfort the victims of the Tiko ghastly accident. The Guardian Post, Regional Assembly Bureau elections, Northwest and Southwest Houses of Chiefs get new presidents. Fon for Amidunji and Chief Kombe Richard replace Fon Yekum Kevin and Atem Ebako in the Northwest and Southwest regions respectively. Municipal updates at Star Building audience. PM salutes ICT University Brazil Agri Partnership. The paper tells its readers that Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dangote has applauded ICT University's digital agricultural project with its Brazilian partner. According to the Horizon, the Esu community in the northwest region of Cameroon is on high alert as a forceful enthronement of a traditional ruler looms. Welcome back. Let's talk about the question: who is governing? Who is leading this nation? This question is coming up again and again because since the swearing-in ceremony of the President of the Republic, since he made his speech in the National Assembly, his policy speech, we've heard nothing from him. There's no new government in place yet. Whereas that is something that should normally happen within a space of weeks.
Yeah. I will tell you today that Cameroon is not run by the person that we've elected, because how many years have they not reshuffled their cabinet? How many years have they not had a civil cabinet meeting? How many years have they not sat and changed even a law that is positive? They're doing defensive policies, a policy that is doing clearing their zone. Anybody who wants to speak here to be killed. Anybody who wants to laugh here to be killed. Anybody who wants to stand here to be killed. They're paving the way and protecting something that me and you might not know. But I am not one who will not know. They're paving something. Anybody who wants to laugh, any media who wants to speak, anything that wants, any journalist, any politician, everybody who needs to remain needs to hear from a group of people. Is that how democracy functions? No. So why do we call it a democracy? Because Cameroon is not run by the elected person, because elected person, we are now almost 2 months from October 12th. We're now in December. We finished November. We're now in December. 2 months. We've not seen, heard, or even have a pride of the person that won the election doing his actions of what a leader does best. When you win an election, you remain quiet. You cannot remain quiet. You come out and meet your people. You walk in the street. You do things. You make policies. You change the old ones and the bad ones straight in front of the people. You don't pass through high instructions. In this country, who gave the right for high instructions? Is there any place in our constitution that stipulates that we vote for you to come and rule the country? You remain and rule the country through high instructions. Is there anywhere in the Cameroon constitution that gives that proviso that an elected person will give high instructions to another person to run the country or to make decisions on his behalf? How long would that last? When did it start? Why did it? First of all, what caused the high instructions? Is he capable or incapable? High instructions only comes in when there's incapacitation or the lack of time due to some other things people occupy. We are not in a state of war. If there was a state of war, Cameroon fighting another country, we might position somebody with high instruction that the president is so busy drawing plans to defend the country. But on this regard, when it comes to healthcare and this, he's given high instructions to this person. Am I wrong? But we don't have anything wrong with Cameroon. Why will Cameroon run for years with high instructions?
It's true that we've heard even some government members questioning the high instructions, like the Minister of Justice questioning the high instructions. But why the questions? Is it about the individual to whom the high instructions are set to be given, or it's about what is being done?
First, we need to know how high is the instruction. How high? Like a mountain? Like what? Who authorized the high instruction? On which signature did they authorize this high instruction? On whose instruction? The president of the country is meant to listen to the people who voted him. The boss of the president is the people. So the people controls the president because they voted for him. There's never a human being in the country who has no boss. Everybody got a boss, and the people are the final boss of the top. How high is this instruction? When did it started? When will it finish? And why is there a high instruction in Cameroon, government in Cameroon? A government of high instruction. When will it finish? And we are the politicians. I myself have called all the 12 political candidates who were in the presidential election. I've called the leaders of civil societies, and I've called the lawyers to join me in a meeting. Let's have a concrete examination of what is meant by high instructions, and see even Adolf Hitler during the war days, whether he ever even donated a high instruction, even after his death, whether there was anything like high instructions.
So I want to understand the problem with those high instructions. Why is it problematic? Is it because of what is done?
It is problematic because the amount of subjugation of Cameroonians has increased. The amount of embezzlement has increased. The amount of mismanagement has increased. And people that have not been elected, the people want an elected body to rule them, not an elected body.
Not an appointed.
Not an appointed person. So if you are appointed, not elected, high instruction is for a limited period of time and should be specified for a certain department and a duration. But this high instruction is unlimited, very unlimited, and people taking decisions that means death and life to humans where they were not elected to that position to take those decisions. Somebody who has to take that blame was elected. When it comes to the blame, the person who has given them high instruction takes the blame and doesn't speak. Then they take the reactions towards the people in a negative way. The Cameroon Reformation Party calls that if you were a candidate for 12 October 2025 presidential elections, and you are a leader of a civil society, and you are a lawyer in this country recognized, we have a meeting organized by the Cameroon Reformation Party to grossly examine. We're having a meeting in Cameroon, and if there's any tantamount of restrictions, we have the meeting somewhere out of this country. And we got the power to organize it, even in the United Kingdom, where I can speak right to the top bodies in the UK that we are suffering in Cameroon, and we want to have a quiet meeting to examine what our constitution says for us to be ruled democratically, not using high instruction. Why is Cameroon the first country in the whole macrocosmic and the microcosmic universe that is using lengthy high instruction from people that are not elected?
You're calling for an emergency meeting,
yes,
with top lawyers and politicians. What do you want to achieve at the end of it?
This election of 12 October 2025, if it was not effective satisfaction for the Cameroonians for who have decided to win the elections, they should denounce and recall.
Who won or who has decided to win?
Just take my words the way I speak. Just take my words. I speak through deduction. I don't speak through induction. So I know exactly what I'm saying. However I've said it, they should decide that if they are incapable to run the country, a fresh new election should be held in this country. We want a real and realistic leadership, not through high instructions in this country. This country has gone through a lot. We don't want any bloodshed in this country. We don't want any anger in this country. We don't want any aggression. We don't want destabilization of this country. We want peace to reign, and we at the Cameroon Reformation Party, we want equality, equal. Everybody in this country should be very, very equal. Should have the right of 5 basic things to 7 basic things. Right for water, right for food, right for electricity, right for internet, right for social health care, and the rest. Right for social security and right for education. Equally. We don't want priorities on certain people. We don't want priorities into high government institutions, because this instruction that is so high that no accountability has ever been given to Cameroonians, how high and powerful the instructions is. Who nominated somebody to be so high to be giving those instructions? We need to know where we stand with our constitution.
Let me get exactly what you're talking about. When you're talking about equality, are you saying that you're against, for example, fuel allowance for some top government authorities, housing allowance, electricity allowance,
Let me take a short.
All the allowance.
Let me take a short. Many of them, once we take power, many are going. The Cameroon Reformation Party will not say a poor country like Cameroon needs to generate wealth for everybody to live free and enjoy and be happy and inclusive. Then you find some hands with amount of money that they even go behind their gardens and burn it and bury some in the ground. It means they have surplus. We're going to stop many things. We're going to stop all these allowances. We're going to stop all these vouchers. When we give somebody a job, the salary they agreed to give you to pay for you has already is equated for you to live your life on daily living, which means the salary includes minimum living allowances, which means the minimum amount of money you can live as a Cameroonian, and the minimum wage, which means that the minimum wage includes that you are capable to live as a human in the country you're living with. We cannot just pay you money when we know you cannot live. We're going to tell Cameroonians one thing. They should not live above their means. You need to live within your means. When the government or a company pays you within the minimum living wage and the minimum wage, they have already mean tested that you are capable to live with it. Paying your electric bill, paying your house rent, paying transport to work, feeding yourself, and saving a bit for your children to go to school, and pension has been deducted before it's been paid.
That one will be certainly when.
Yeah, that's Cameroon Reformation Party.
But now, as of now, the minimum wage is less than 100,000.
Because you find some with Prados for 60 million. Just imagine 60 ministers getting 60 cars for 60 million. You will start from here to Bamenda or from here to Marwa. Yeah, 60 million, 60 million, 60 million, 60 million. How many hundred people? You see, it's a lot of money. They grind these cars for nothing. So we're taking all these responsibilities back. We're never going to give anybody a car and a house in this country who works. You are going to be paying your rent from what the government is giving you, and you're going to be working for the government, and they're paying you what you can live on. If you're a minister, it's mini tested to your level of work, and they're paying you your money, whatever category A, one or category, whatever, they're paying you what they're paying, and learn to live with it. Corruption has increased in this country because people are living above their means. You are a minister, you want to live like prime minister. You are prime minister, you want to live like the president. You are the president, you want to live like a white person, Vladimir Putin, and all those. That's what is wrong here. You are a teacher, you want to live like a headmaster. You are a headmaster, you want to live like the inspector of education. You are an inspector, you want to live like a delegate. Why can people not live within their means? So people will learn to live within what they have got. They will be trained by myself to say, when you are harvesting 100,000 and more, let me tell you how you use it. And you use it nicely, your children will go to good schools because there is no school fees again, there will be basic free education, basic health free, and all those things. So you will live with that money. Bribe taking will be an abomination, not a crime only. It will be combined abomination and crime, which means that learn to live with what you have. You are a mechanic, learn to live with what you have. You are an inspector of police, learn to live with what you have. Taking extraordinary money from anywhere is an abomination combined as a crime.
Right, we're wrapping up with this conversation. I just want you to look at this camera right in front of you and talk to Cameroonians about what they must do to change this unpleasant situation of the country.
Yeah, my fellow Cameroonians, it is me, your leader, FOLIGAR Lang, the founder and leader of the Cameroon Reformation Party. I am here to address you and to thank you for even having the time to listen to me. Remember that in a country like Cameroon, there must be somebody that is deductive, that reasons every bit of thing that is disturbing your lives and making you live a life of challenges, of difficulties, of torments, of molestation, of intimidation, and all the torturing and life living in fear. It is a very bad thing for countries and for people living in their country that God has given them to live freely and get the oxygen they deserve, and for people to live so much in fear. Fear is the principal handicap in human evolution. And that is the reason why Cameroon is really down. There's no innovation, there is no creativity because people are living in fear. There's no investors coming into our country, there's no job creation. The only job creation is the government. But they've centralized the job creation for themselves so they can give you like a piece of biscuits whenever you want to get angry. They call one member of your family or the village and give them a post of minister. I want to tell you that I am working here so hard and working day and night. I'm not sleeping because I think and I care about you, my people of Cameroon, that it is time you need to be listening carefully as I'm growing into your hearts on day to day, and that's how you are growing into listening to me on day to day. So we can both join hands in a logical manner, very logical, as I'm fighting here now to see that this country should be very transparent like anywhere else that is so democratic. I'm fighting for you, and you should be ready to fight for me. And if there's any time that I think that we should be doing something much more than what we're doing now, I will need you and you will need me. And I say that time is with you and for you. In French, they say pour vous, avec vous. That is what we are here struggling for. And I stand here as your leader, and I think that you should sleep and dream about me. And as I sleep and see you in my dreams and see the type of life I want to lead you into, the happiness, the freedom, the joy and comfort, the endurance, the education, the healthcare, and everything that is by the virtue of nature that the Lord Almighty has handed down to you, but is being confiscated by a group of very egocentric and eccentric people that it should not touch your hands. I am here avec vous et pour vous. My name is FOLIGAR Lang, and I thank you for listening.
We are looking at how you can make the best wherever you find yourself on the globe. How you can gravitate through the ladder of success. How you can make the best out of everything around you. And we are receiving a Cameroonian who is making the best in her domain, who is making the best out of every resources around her. Thank you for staying with us. Meet our guest in some few seconds. Thank you once more for staying with us on Equinoxe Television. Our guest today is ELSIE. She is a Cameroon-born, US-based entrepreneur, Chief Executive Officer of Most Admired Beauties MAPS Company, skincare specialist or licensed skincare specialist and skincare formulator in the United States of America. And she's the former product manager of Facebook, former product manager at Uber Transport Company, and she also served for the state of California. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
You've come back to Cameroon after more than 10 years. How did you see the country that you found when you arrived here?
Okay, initially when I arrived, I was very happy to be home because home is where the heart lies, right? But I'm a little discouraged from the airport. There's a lot of heat because there seems to be no AC working at the airport. So when we left, I had an amazing entrance, welcoming, seeing my people, everybody. The love was massive. Yeah. So from there, navigating to my final destination, which is Limbe, it was a little bit discouraging. I was like, the roads are not where I left them. They are way more worse. When I was leaving, it was better, but now it's worse. Seems as if no work has been done for the past 10 years. Yeah.
Traveling from Douala to Limbe, from what you're saying,
yes,
seems to have been a nightmare to you.
It was very, very. A lot of potholes, no guide on how roads should be actually, because everybody just jumped from this lane, no separate lanes actually. I think I can now understand the so many accidents we see on the way, we see on social media. There's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as road safety is concerned.
Right, that's just one aspect of the unpleasant situation of the country today. What more? What else did you find unpleasant?
Also, no street lights. You get to a certain area where there's no. If you happen to have like an issue with your vehicle, definitely you can be robbed, or you can, because it's so unsafe. There's no light. Those street lights, they are there, but it seems as if they're not working. So I think a lot of work needs to be done as far as basic necessities given to Cameroonians is concerned.
Right. How do you think that can be achieved? How do you think all of these issues can be handled, can be dealt with by the government?
I think the government is the people. So if you're put in a post of responsibility, you need to take the country as your own, because the same if you are like a minister of public transport, that your responsibility is to see that the roads are being made in a proper way. You need to increase the effort in doing your job, because I think for the past 10 years it's really worse from what I've experienced so far. Very tiring. The distance is very short, but the length of time you waste on the way, because of the too many potholes, no direct control for somebody to know that, okay, this lane belongs to this one going, not you going and jumping to the next one, coming here. Everybody is just mixing up because there's no direction, no signboards to make people to know that this is like this, and then this is going this way. You cannot just be seeing another vehicle coming. The lanes are very thin, very narrow.
Tiny.
Yes, of which we have a lot of space that they can do like expansion. So I just think everybody should, if you hold a country like yours, the post of responsibility that you've been given, you should actually work. Say, this is my home, this is where I live, I need to make it clean. Because at the end of the day, I know whoever is in charge is passing through those roads as well. So I think we just need to put in more effort in building our own.
Right, we need to put in more effort in building the nation.
Yes.
And of course, building the African continent.
Yes.
Now, you moved to the U.S. Close to 12 years ago, and you've been able to move through the ladder of success to the point where you are a CEO. You know, when you hear that word CEO is quite a big word with a lot of responsibilities also attached to it, and it takes a lot to get there. And we're looking at how to make the best out of whatever you have as resources around you, how to make the best wherever you find yourself, not only in the United States, but even here in Cameroon and everywhere on the African continent, because we believe that you can make it. We can make it everywhere.
Yeah.
And you've been able to make, should I say, the best, or even best, more than the best, out of what you had around you as resources in the United States, being an immigrant. Share your experience with us.
Okay. I can say the experience wasn't that easy, but because I'm someone that I say, if you give me lemons, I'm going to turn those lemons to a lemonade. I am a very determined human being. I don't say, no is not an answer. There must be a solution. If I can think about something, meaning there's a solution about that thing. I just need to be ready to think, and I'm going to find a solution to that particular problem. So, navigating in the U.S.
You said something very, very remarkable, and I want us to kind of dig a little bit into that. You said if you are given lemon, you will make lemonade out of it.
Yeah.
You didn't say that you will consume it. You said you make lemonade.
Yes, because I have to make it, and I
Yeah,
produce it.
you know the tendency generally is to consume.
Yes,
Is to consume. You give me lemonade, I consume it.
Yes, I definitely don't want to consume by myself. So I to make lemonade out of it, because you definitely will use it to make more income out of what you have produced. So
And then other people will be able
to purchase and enjoy as
to
well.
enjoy, and
Get
then
the
you would have
benefits.
been, you at the end of the day, you would have created wealth.
Yes.
You may even create jobs,
Yes.
and create other things
Other
that
things.
will be pretty much more and can produce more
More.
lemonades
Yes, for sure.
and more lemons to
More.
produce more lemonades.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, so go on.
Yeah. So being in the United States as an immigrant is not an easy task, because we are learning from all the new culture. But to navigate, it wasn't easy, but I'm happy that I went through because I have a very supportive backbone behind me. My dad, Kanga Usmanu, and my mom, Tangi and Talia. Those are my foster parents. So they made everything so simple and seamless. And also my husband, Senator, he was also a very amazing person. I have so many people that have really like make my way, but I can always give glory to God, because my determination and good health came from him, and the thoughts always come from him as well.
Sorry for stopping you here. We will continue into that experience, but I want to point this out. From what you just said now, parents,
Yes.
help your children to succeed.
Perfect.
And above all, husbands, help your wife to succeed.
Yes.
Their success shouldn't be a threat, right?
No, it shouldn't. He wants everybody that I've just mentioned, they always want to see me at the top. They will always want to see me at the top. They'll be like, you can do this. I think they see me, and they always make me to look above, not below. So when I look at the end goal, it makes me to always work harder. That's why if you see the logo of my company maps, there is a pyramid designed with an eagle head, because the eagle is one of the birds that fly the highest. So I always take myself that this is my spirit animal, so that I will always push to the top, no matter how difficult it is.
You always push to the top.
Yes.
That is very important, because most often, especially for us young people, when we encounter difficulties, the tendency is to move backward. The tendency is to give up. The tendency is to stop. The tendency is to get frustrated and abandon everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But I will always encourage you, never take no for an answer. If you go to this office, they say no, go to the next one, you're gonna get it for sure.
Right.
Yes.
So, how did you navigate through the American environment to be able to move up to where you are today?
Being very, like, I make sure I scan through and I learn the culture where I am, because you don't want to remain like an African in another person's country. You want to learn what they have in their country so that it can be easier for you to navigate. If it gets to a point where you have to change your accent so that the person like the people you are serving can better understand you, you have to dive into that. So I always like make sure I watch a lot of stuff. I scan through. I learn the environment, because
Understanding the terrain.
Yes, when you understand how everybody behaves, how they think, how they speak, how they were going to understand you, then it's easier for you to communicate. And with good communication, you're going to navigate easy.
Right. You served as product manager of Facebook, product manager of Uber company. How did you get to that?
Okay, immediately I graduated from my master's. One thing with America, we do a lot of we study case study per each company. So I was in San Francisco. That's where most of those apps company are, in the Bay Area. So I wrote for Facebook. It was a very joyful time for me, because I wrote about Facebook Live, of which it was my idea. Because usually as a product manager, what you do is you get to a company, propose strategies for them, how they can expand to other products. For example, when you have like Facebook Live, you have Facebook, their products, like for example, the Facebook Live itself is a product. Facebook feed is a product. Each of the icons that they have is a product. So when you give a strategy for them and they see that this is something that can work, they develop it. But the only thing is you have to sign a document. The school sells those ideas to those companies. They read your paper, read your strategy. Because take for example, I'm in Equinoxe right now. I can look for a better strategy, bring out something new that you guys are not doing. And they market those, they take it as a product. Yeah.
Well, and
So with that, it got me easily, because out of 200 people, I was an African with an accent that got the job.
an accent that got a job.
Yeah, because usually it's not easy to get that kind of position as an African with an accent, because our accent doesn't blend like theirs. But what I have in my brain, I was able to communicate, and they understood it, and they gave me the job. And that was the best.
Right. And now you've created your own company.
Yes.
You're a licensed skincare specialist and skincare formulator
Yes.
in the United States of America. First of all, tell us what that means. A licensed skincare specialist.
Yeah.
That one we understand, that is the skincare formulator.
Yeah. Okay. So I studied skincare because of the situation I have. I used to have terrible acne, bad skin for the past 15 years of my life. So it used to just make me have like very low self-esteem. Using all sort of products, I never see what was really working. Today it works, the next day it comes back, and I realized that there's something wrong, maybe in the way they formulate most of these products. So when I started going to school, I actually stopped Facebook job because I want to go to school to continue with the skincare. So when I went, I discovered that most of the products that we have are formulated for white people, for the white skin. So it's like a try and error to get to see what works for most black people, people of color like me. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to study and see. And I found out there's a lot of ingredients that can work for me that won't work for you. That's where at MAPS we are standout, because we only do our products according to each person's skin, your color, your environment. Because not every product you will take for example, they produce something here. The climatic environment here is not as the one in the US. You bring something from here, we take it to the US, it doesn't really give you that functionality, like you don't see the performance out of it. So from there we started customizing per each person. So it's a lot of work. So that I'm a light-skinned person, you are a dark-skinned person. So you using my product, it can get you lighter because there's some certain ingredients that doesn't work for you. That's why we are so unique in what we do at MAPS LLC and MAPS Skincare.
Before we go more into talking about skincare, which is your area of specialization, let's talk about your homecoming.
Yes.
Definitely, this is your country. You have to come home. But then there are some objectives that you want to achieve at this particular time.
Yes. My homecoming is to come and appreciate the numerous heroes that have been behind my success, which are especially the main celebrant of my homecoming is going to be my aunt, which is my mom, my foster mom, Madame Tangi Antalya Cheng. She's the manager of schools for West Region. And my uncle, who is my father, we both live in the US now, but he had to come here because I wanted to celebrate him in front of everybody because he's the one that is behind my major success. Mr. Kanga Usman Ushe, yeah, the manager of Guarantee Express for Libe.
All right.
Yeah.
And besides the celebration,
we are going to do a lot of awards that day. So, and after the celebration, I'm going to visit like some orphanages because I want to speak to orphans and also give them that you can be an orphan, but tomorrow you can be like me because I know I'm very comfortable.
That message is very important. You can be an orphan, but you can still make it.
Yes.
You can still succeed.
Yes.
No room for despair.
No, there's no limit. Yeah.
Right. So now you've come back home and you're in the US. You have a company in the US, and you saw the situation of your country in a very unpleasant, unfavorable state.
Yes.
And definitely you know about the high rate of unemployment in this country. You know about the difficult socio-economic situation of the country, and many Cameroonians who are living below the poverty line. And you are employing people in the US. I don't know, maybe Cameroonians, maybe other Africans, maybe whites. You are employing them in your company. And there are Cameroonians here, your fellow Cameroonians, who are jobless. And the economy of the country needs people like you to raise it up from the slums.
Yeah. That's why I'm coming back, because I have a couple of projects that is going on right now. And I've hired so many people, and you'll see that I always outsource most of my social media to Cameroonians. So those who are controlling all my pages, my social media managers and advertisers, I'm always seeing Cameroonians that are back here. So, and I have multiple of them. They know that I like to support my own. Yes, I like to support my own, because my goal is whatever ideas I see, what is good over there, I should also bring it back home. That's why you see we have so many projects that are going on that will soon be available for public consumption and to help the population and the community, because I am a community builder. I am so I'm a very patriotic individual. My country is my heart. So I make sure whoever I hire to work, they are well paid and they know it.
Your country is your heart.
Yeah.
That's very important, because there are a lot of people who have lost hope in Cameroon. There are a lot of people, because of the socio-economic and even the political situation of the country. Somebody told me that he was going to renounce the Cameroonian nationality because of the unpleasant situation of the things that are happening, the situation of the country, with a lot of things that are happening and pulling the country down. But you say that Cameroon is your heart. Tell us more about that.
Because,
are you a nation builder?
I am.
Yeah.
I am a nation builder. That's why you see everything, even from the designer of my logo, is in Cameroon. Everything I always search. If I don't see anybody that can't do in Cameroon before I can go to other countries, I will always want to patronize my own, because I really like to build. I want my country to be a better country that everybody can express themselves politely, respectfully, and we can build, because if we have competition, we're going to grow. Without any competition, there's no growth. And if people are being hushed up not to speak, there's no way we can grow. We'll grow with one mentality, and it doesn't work that way. Because, for example, being a formulator, right? What I do, you come in and I see what's going on with you. We have a discussion. I get your ideas and I go into the lab and I bring that idea in a physical product. So without me giving that room for you to have that discussion with me, I will not be able to come out with a product.
Or you may come out with a product that will be disastrous.
Yes, and that will not even work. I'm coming here to encourage others that if you are in Cameroon, you can make it with consistency. And if you are out there, when you make it, remember back home. Because
I was going to ask you to look at this camera right in front of you and send a message to your fellow diasporans. Tell them something about coming back home, coming back to invest in Cameroon, coming back to build this nation.
Yes. Okay, to everyone in the diaspora that is going to watch this show, I would like to encourage you. Over in the diaspora, we can lose anything at a click. But in Cameroon, where you are, that's where your heart is. Because if you look at your passport, they will say, an American from Cameroon. They will always mention your origin, which means there's a significant message they're sending to you. When you acquire something, it can be taken out of you. It can be taken easily. But something that you were born with, it cannot be taken easily. So it's always good for us to come back home and build back home. Our country, only us can make it better. So I encourage you to come back and see for yourself, and so that together we can help to grow Cameroon.
And not only coming back, but coming back to invest.
Yes.
The dollars.
Yes.
Bring the dollars to Cameroon and invest in Cameroon and build this nation.
Yes.
And what do you think government can do to facilitate this? Because there is the issue of dual nationality that seems to be a disturbing issue, especially with those who have taken up other nationalities. Coming back home, you need to go get a visa to come to your country, and that seems to be quite disturbing for many.
Actually, anything that you do for yourself, no matter how narrow it is, you still do it, right? So I think it's not as difficult, because to acquire the visa is not difficult. It's very easy. Hours went so fast. And when you get to the airport, it's easy as well. It's just a protocol. Stand on it, and then you show them the documents. They stamp it, and you're good to go. So it's not, it's a workable, I don't think it's like a hassle.
Yeah, but should that issue of dual nationality not simply be scrapped off? Should dual nationality not be accepted in Cameroon? Why not even multiple nationality?
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't need to get a visa to come to Cameroon, to come to your country.
Yeah, I'll actually, maybe I think the government uses that as a form of raising some more income to better the country with that, because definitely when we are processing our visas, we are paying some money, and that money is there to help the government. I think maybe financially they're trying to say, okay, this is your contribution to your, to get into your country. It's just like a contribution to me. I don't see that it's like a difficult thing that because it's acquired in Europe, you cannot get it, because before we spend a lot of money to get over there. So why don't you just spend minor coins, because those income are coming to build your country. So to me, with dual nationality or just single, it's okay. I think anything that if we use strategy to raise money and we better our country, I don't think Cameroonians will be mad at that.
But that's where the problem is, because even on the roads,
Yeah.
you saw the state of the road from Douala to Limbe, to Boya and so on, and there is a toll gate on that road. Money is being collected, but even at the toll gate, the road is bad.
Bad. And they don't even have equipment. There's so many things that need to be fixed as far as the country is concerned, especially at the port, the sea, like at the seaport, because coming here, I actually ship a container with vehicles, and the level in which the charges on recent vehicles is way crazy. So I think they're not encouraging people to bring quality products into the country, because if you are bringing a Range Rover 2018, 2020, is the tariffs or whatever they call is to the roof. You pay such a huge amount, but when you come out of it, you don't have a good road to even drive your car. So I see that most people don't, because everybody was like, these your vehicles, you will not be able to remove them, you will not be able to. But because I like to always go for anything that is good, I spent a lot of money to make sure they were all out. So I think the government should make it easier for people to import what is of quality, not us bringing salvage vehicles, because that one will be cheaper for us to remove them out of the port. Because like when I compare with my Nigerian counterparts, it's easier for them. But for Cameroon, all the shipping companies, they will just tell you.
Import duties are very high.
Very, very high. Very, very high.
Let's talk about your area of specialization, skincare. And you're actually making the best out of it, because your company is standing out as one of the top companies in that domain, in an economy, a competitive economy like the United States. First of all, why skincare? You know, there are a lot of people, of course, that can be justifiable.
Yeah.
In Cameroon, in many African countries, in the developing countries, because if you start telling somebody who's not eating that he should buy a product to take care of his skin, it looks like provocation. But you, as a specialist, you're saying that it is very, very important, very necessary. Tell us more about that.
Like I stand, I always say your skin is the most expensive clothes you wear, because the way you look is going to determine the kind of seat they're going to give you at the table. Yes, the way you look physically, and it doesn't start from the clothes, it starts from your skin, from your presentation. You can have a very, take for example, like I always tell my customers, you can wear a very expensive ring, say like what I'm wearing right now, but if your hands are not perfect, they're not good, it just makes that quality product look cheap on you. So your skin is very important. That's the first thing. Before you blast it up or accentuate it with makeup, you need to have a proper skin. So my goal is to make people, a lot of people are facing a lot of skin issues, because what we do at MAP Skincare, we target those who are struggling with skin problems, that have gone through so many dermatologists and they are unable to find solutions. Then when you come to us, we will look at your problem and formulate a product that will work uniquely for you. And with that, we've been seeing a lot of amazing, outstanding results.
You're talking about those who have gone to different dermatologists. That's for those who actually go to the dermatologist.
Yes.
What is the risk involved in just picking something left and right on the market, in the bars? Somebody is advertising, and then you pick it up and start rubbing on your skin, rubbing this and that without any proper medical or professional advice?
There's a lot of risk because most of those products are not certified. There's no control. And I know the frustration because I've been there. You don't have money to, because dermatologists are quite very expensive. It's not like it's an easy thing to acquire a dermatologist, to go to the hospital for them to give you something that can work. And what I always do is, if you value something, no matter how hard it is, you're going to go for it. Yes, because especially with us, it's a whole journey for you to get our products. You go through the process of consultation. I'll tell you, if you can't take, for example, someone like you, I'll be like, you have a good skin. Maybe you just need a little bit of hydration, moisturizing, and that's it. But somebody will come drip in with a lot of acne because going through hormonal issues. Maybe they have used roadside products and it messed up their skin. Like what I do a lot, I repair a lot of people's skin. I always tell them, skincare is not skin bleaching. If you are bleaching your skin, you are not taking care of your skin.
That's another precision that is very, very important, because the impression is that everybody wants to look like you.
I'm light-skinned
and people think that those who are dark like me are not handsome or are not beautiful.
Yeah, that's a very big misconception. You need to have, that's why at MAP Skincare, we produce uniquely for your skin. When you come to us, we are going to show you, we have these 8 skin tones, like, it's under the umbrella of everybody that is of color. You choose where you belong. And I will also help you to identify yours as well. But I always interact with the customer. Someone say, okay, I want to be like this. I say, okay, did your mom give you this from the beginning? If they say no, I'll tell her, okay, this is how we do it, and we're doing it professionally. Because we have that license. So first of all, acquire that license in the US is not an easy. For a black lady to have that, you have to protect it with all your heart. So I'm always giving people the right thing, no rush. I will repair, and they see the results. If you go on our social media platforms, you're going to see amazing, overwhelming results.
Right. And of course, we are hoping that we will soon have maps here in Cameroon.
Yes. So.
Maybe not as expensive as, because that's where there's another issue. It's not chocolate, right?
It's not actually. It's we actually have, the products are quite pricey. Not, I always say it's not pricey. When they say, oh my God, expensive, I say it's not, because before coming to me, right, you have purchased so many products that did not work. And I'll tell them, go and finish what you have. If it doesn't give you the result, come to us. I'll source my ingredients in the United States, and it's a spa grade. It's not like a locally made extraction product, no. It's a spa grade, so it's being extracted by high level of biochemists that give us those kind of quality to be able to give that certain concentration to you. For example, if I want to treat somebody with acne, I can give you something. Say, for example, you have a breakout right here because of stress. I have a product that in 24 hours, it clears it out. It kills the bacteria and numbs and sink down the bump area. So those are not easily find ingredients, because that's the main reason. But I'm seeing that Cameroonians are embracing it. still because they see that it's not about the price, it's about the performance of that product.
It's about the results.
Yeah, the results.
Right. So, about you said something earlier that skincare is not bleaching.
Yes,
It's
skincare is not
changing
skin
your
bleaching.
color from
Yes.
white to black or whatever.
Right,
Black to
right.
white or whatever.
Yes, because if you are doing that, you are not taking care of your skin. You are damaging your skin. If you are bleaching your skin, look, everybody, they can just go look at your aunties that used to be so light skinned. Look at them today. Because they were using horrible, because that's what I'm treating every day. Women are calling every day, and to restore those, they already lost hope. But I'm happy that through my experience and through what God has invested in me, MAP Skincare has been giving a lot of restoration to people who have lost hope as far as their skin journey is concerned. Because men wants to look younger. Everybody in this world, you want to look younger. You don't want to look stressed out. You don't want to look like your problem. Because I can be having a lot of problems, but I'll never look like the problem because I make sure taking care of my skin is the goal. Yeah.
And it gives strength inside also.
Yes.
When you know that you're beautiful, you're handsome, it gives some strength inside, right?
Right. Right.
All right, let's take some interviews now, and we'll be right back in a moment.
We all have a responsibility to be very civic, to see that we do things that bring us towards peace. Peace is under justice. We must seek justice.
Let the CPDM government not make as though Cameroon belongs to the CPDM government. No, Cameroon belongs to all Cameroonians. And the CPDM government should be able to treat all Cameroonians fairly and respecting the norms and the rules of human rights.
Welcome back. We're still with our guest, ELSIE, entrepreneur, CEO of Most Admired Beauties Maps Company, skincare specialist and formulator, licensed skincare specialist and formulator. And now we're talking about skincare. Tell us, what are some of the most recurrent skincare issues that you're often handling every now and then?
Like, the number one I can say is acne.
Tell us more about that.
Okay, when you have all these bumps, they call it like a very low way is pimples on the face.
Okay, pimples.
Yes. And it occurs, for most people that I've seen, it starts as maybe you growing your puberty, hormonal imbalance going on, and you try to use so many products that you think they are, because everybody put it, acne this, that you are buying thinking that it's going to help you, end up giving you way more issues on the body. So what I do, number one, is acne. They know because I used to have a lot of acne on my face, on my back, my hands, everywhere. But I've treated, people see my result. Go on my page, you are going to see my result. And from where I started to where my skin is, I show it every day with my followers. And that's why you see, and we have a lot of results, a lot, because it's shown that it's very, very successful. And also when someone has damaged your skin, a lot of people damaging their skin every day with harsh chemicals, products. So what we do, we are repairing their skin and making them have a very flawless skin. That is not bleaching you. Not you having all these dark knuckles, dry skin. We just make sure you have a perfect skin, because everybody deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to have this conversation with us.
Thank you for having me.
We wish you the best.
Okay, thank you, and same to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's edition of The Insight. Thank you so much for staying with us. God bless Cameroon. God bless Africa. Goodbye.